Hello, everyone. Can you hear us and see us? As I can see, we already have some number of people that are listening to us at the moment. I will wait just like a few more moments to make sure that everyone who wants to be here is here. Alexander, how are you?
I'm good. Some days you're great, some days you're good. So today is one of those days when I'm just good.
That's totally fine. Are you ready to rock this event?
Always.
Okay, that's great. Okay, since we are 1 minute past 3, I would like to start. So, hello everyone, and welcome to our retail talks. We didn't do one, I think, in 2 or 3 weeks. So, I'm pretty excited to hold this one also. So, Retail Talks is actually our live event. So, we are live streaming at the moment. We have it once or twice a month, and it's always Tuesday, and it's always at 3 p.m. Central European Time. So, what is also really important to tell you, we are streaming both on LinkedIn and YouTube. So, if some platform isn't working, right, then please switch to another one. If you need maybe link or something like that, tell us, type in a comment, and we will provide it. Also, since this is one live event, it's recording. Actually, it's being recorded, so you will be able to watch it later as well. My name is Milica, and I'm a marketing manager at company Fiscal Solutions. And I'm your host today. So if you have any problems of a technical nature or something like that, please let me know. Also here in the comments, and I will try to solve your problems as soon as possible. Of course, I'm not alone today. Today with us is Alexander Marinkovic, and he is legal consultant at Fiscal Solutions as well. Alexander, I must say, he's a real connoisseur of a lot of fiscal laws and fiscal requirements in a lot of European countries. And one of the countries is the country we will cover today. And I'm pretty excited to hear from you, Alexander. I hope you're good, and I hope that you are ready to give us some spicy information.
I will do my best as always.
Okay, that's great. I'm happy to hear that, and I always love to how I should say host you. So before we start, I'd like to do like a short introduction. I would like to tell you who is Fiscal Solutions, what we actually do, and why do we feel competent to talk on these live streams. Fiscal Solutions is a company that is 20 years old. And I must say, we started in Romania, our first fiscal project. Back in 2003. And now we are active in more than 20 countries. I would say 25 at the moment. And one of these countries is also Metaverse, since we are really a company that is looking for innovations and always looking some new innovative ways to go closer to our customers and clients who are really retailers and POS software vendors. Also, what is really important and what I always like to mention when it comes to Fiscal Solutions is that we are pretty simple, as we have only four products. First one is Internet Portal, where we publish documentation, news, alerts about fiscal countries. So when something important happens in some country, maybe there are some new laws, fiscal laws or fiscal requirements, you will be first to know about it if you are subscribed on our fiscal portal. Something that is really important also to mention at the moment is this. So Fiscal Portal is currently on discount, meaning that we have that buy one and get one free discount. So actually it's a thing that you subscribe for one country and you get subscription for another one for free. So that's only this week. So for the end of the week, go and check it out on our Fiscal Portal. And I must say, it would be great if you do it until Friday, so our account managers could help you if you have any problems with it. Okay, that's of course not all. Second product that we have is workshop. So workshops are actually about country requirements and like whole fiscal law of some country of your interest. So if you want to do expansion in some fiscal country, European fiscal country, or maybe Ghana, because we are now available in Ghana also, then you can hire some of our consultants, such as Alexander at the moment. He's here with us, so you can see him. And they are like available for you like the whole day. They're telling you everything about the specific requirements, even how the receipts should look like, and all some small details that you can only imagine. After that, you have 30 days of warranty to ask whatever questions you have to clarify if something wasn't crystal clear for you. After that, if you maybe think that working with us would be great, then we are providing middleware that implements fiscal requirements of, I think at the moment, 17 countries. And at the end of the process, fiscal help desk, that's actually fiscal support for your local business. And I must say, we are like our team of support guys are keep tracking all of your transactions and making sure that you're working according to the law. What is really important also to say is that we are the responsible ones for that part. So you don't have any headaches when it comes to fiscalization or some transactions in case of audits or whatever is something that makes you maybe with fear or something like that. Okay, so also I would like to introduce today's topic. So as you could see, we are talking today about the Belgium, and we are going to talk about the Belgium fiscalization in the first place, because in some things Belgium is really specific. So I would say that is one of the most heavily industrialized and urbanized countries in Europe. And also, one important information is that tax rates are pretty high in this country. Alexander will probably tell you better, but as I saw, they have really high tax rates. It means that people who are like making more than I think 38,000 euros are taxed at 50%. So you're like giving the half to authorities, right? This is really important to cover, since to see which sectors actually are fiscal, because some of them are not, and you will hear from Alexander more. We will talk about the main elements and the main fiscal challenges to overcome. So you met my dear colleague, Alexander, a few moments ago. So Alexander, I would like to ask you if that's okay with you to start with a short overview of Belgian fiscal system.
Well, that's always a good place to start, because if we go straight to the details, then we will get in trouble. So, yeah. So what's interesting about Belgium and fiscalization system is actually that it is mandatory from 2016, but only for HoReCa industry. And there are no specific legal requirements for retail sector in the sense of this fiscalization system. Basically, all on-premises sales in restaurants and catering services provided by a taxpayer whose turnover exceeds 25,000 euros must be registered in the cash register system. And there are also specific rules how to calculate whether the limit is exceeded or not. And at each sale, a receipt must be produced by the certified cash register. So this would be just the, let's say, short introduction in the basic things about fiscalization in Belgium. So we're talking about proven fiscalization system for Horeca industry, so not other sectors or industries. And even if you're working in that sector, the taxpayer may not be subjected to the fiscalization regulations.
Okay, great. So when we do these live events, when we are talking about the countries and their fiscalization systems, I always like to start with the type of fiscalization, as we know some of them, and they're like software-based, hardware-based, combined. So let's clarify which one is established in Belgium also.
Yeah, well, you said it right. So here at Fiscal Solution, we actually have our own classification of fiscalization system. So this is maybe still not worldwide recognized, let's say, classification. And this really helps us to better understand the requirements, both technical and legal, in countries that we cover, or even when we start researching, this is the first thing that we look for. So what kind of fiscalization system does that country have? So we have several types. Basically, we put it down to 4 types. So online, software, hardware, and combined, where combined is in most cases both hardware and software type of fiscalization. So in Belgium, we have this last type of fiscalization, combined or hardware plus software type of fiscalization. And again, only for Horeca industry. This is really important to have in mind when we're talking about Belgium. And this means that not all, but let's say not all components, but majority of components used for fiscalization have to be certified.
Okay. I think that now we have like that great introduction of Belgian fiscal system, which is great. But I would like to, if you could specify who are the taxpayers, who are actually the subjects of fiscalization in Belgium.
Okay, so basically we have, as always, when we start talking about new country, really have to go to the legal definition of the taxpayer or the subject of fiscalization. In one broad sense, in one really, I would say, even complicated definition, the operator of an establishment where meals are consumed and the caterer who provides catering services must issue receipts by means of a cash register system where the turnover exclusive of the VAT, so we have additional element relating to the restaurant and catering services, and again excluding the supply of beverages, exceeds the threshold of 25,000 euros. So if we were to put this in more simple sentence, then taxpayers whose turnover exceeds 25,000 euros and who are restaurants and caterers are the taxpayers, or they are subject of the fiscalization. Now, when we are talking about the threshold itself, so it is calculated on the basis of amounts exclusive of VAT, we already stated that, and includes turnover from restaurant and catering services. The threshold is not included in the calculation as turnover from the provision of drinks during meals, the provision of beverages outside meals, takeaway food, beverages, and similar. Also, when we are talking about caterers, so the rental of tables, chairs, plates, glasses, and staff for services, and so on, for which a separate price is considered, not included in the price of the meal, is not included in the calculation of the threshold. And where the threshold of €25 is exceeded, receipts from a cash register systems are to be issued for this type of rental only if relates to an event for which the taxable person concerned also carries out restaurant services or catering. So we can see that this definition itself is rather complicated. There are a lot of things to have in mind. So are you just a taxpayer who offer meals or beverages as well? You have to pay attention in which situation you as a caterer, you have to issue receipts for different types of services. So if your service is just rental or also rental plus meals. And also when we are talking this threshold, it's so you have to bear in mind that about the VAT as well. So there are a lot of things to think about if you are a subject of this type of fiscalization in Belgium.
Okay, great. So I would say that this is like, you have to be really careful, right? If you're working in Horeca sector in Belgium, since this seems like it's narrowly specialized.
Yeah.
So my question is, do they have some like source of information there? So when someone maybe who works in Horeca sector and hasn't been present in Belgium, what should they do first? Is there like any institution that could help them?
Well, first, starting from, I think, few days in the future, they could go to our web portal and find out all the information needed in English, because most of the information on Belgian websites is actually in French. So if you are not familiarized with French, and even throughout my period here working for the fiscal solutions, I noticed that even if you use some tools for translation tools, some languages are really hard to translate into English, and even some really important information is missed during that translation. So first of all the information are available in French, and that means that you really need to pay attention when you're using translation tools, which word is translated into which way, because sometimes you will find that the same word is translated in different ways. So you will lose track of whether we are talking about some kind of special bill, or we are talking about receipt, or we are talking about invoice. There are few, of course, laws that have to be considered. There are also some interpretations, some opinions, and so on. But really, you need to go through each and every of them so that you can solve this puzzle. And there's different rules for different actors on the market. And sometimes it's really hard to find all those information and even to understand and then present them to clients or whoever needs. Even when we are developing our solution for some country, we really need to be careful to understand both technical and legal aspect, and to use the correct terms, to use the correct values, as you stated. So we have different VAT rates for different things. So it's a complex thing, but that's why we're here, to cope with that and to really understand, do our research, understand, and then write tons of documents about it.
Yeah, I can totally agree. That wasn't actually something that I wanted to like push here, because we are not doing like the sales here. But of course, I think that we are always like good starting point. And to get some good informations. Also, something that is really interesting, and that's why I asked, is that Belgium has 3 official languages, right?
That's true.
Yes, and always something that is really challenging in every fiscal country, and especially in Belgium in this case, because they have 3 official languages, is to translate all the documents and to translate it so they are like 100% true. And that's something that is really challenging. So would you also tell that something like that could become a problem if they don't have a real source of information?
Yes, that is completely true. So, but we have to look at from again two different perspectives. One, we can talk about language and receipts, and the other group would be if you want to certify something and you need to submit documents, in which language you need to submit it. But for the purposes of fiscalization, the receipt is always in our main focus. So there are some language rules regarding that.
Yes,
Sorry, you wanted
definitely.
to
I
say
would.
something.
Yes, I will. That is also my prepared question for you, but I will leave it for later. I was just like talking about the general challenges that are happening like in every country and especially in Belgium. Of course, some of the main elements of fiscalization are always affected by the language of the certain country, and that is something that is just like that. And sometimes you can't help it if you don't have a good translator or if you don't have some official documents already translated to English, to language that everyone speaks. Okay, so my next question would be, because we were talking about the HoReCa sector and the fiscalization in that context, my question would be, do you think it is weird that it's just HoReCa sector? And why do you think that it's just HoReCa? I mean, why? Why are not all retailers from every branch affected by the fiscalization?
Well, the answer to that question would be both no and yes. So the reason for no, so when some country wants to introduce fiscalization for the first time, they usually start from HoReCa industry. But this is usually just the first phase, first of many, typically 3 to 4 phases that we noticed that there is in this period. But so it is not weird that it is only HoReCa, because it usually starts with HoReCa. But, and that is the reason for the yes part of this answer, usually countries do not stop at HoReCa industry. So, and usually there is expansion, let's call it like that, to other sectors or on the other industries, where usually the retail sector is the last one because it's the biggest one. And my assumption would be that it is easier to do that trial and error thing with smaller industries than retail. So yes, in some ways it is weird that it is only HoReCa, but it usually everything starts with HoReCa.
Okay, so you want to tell me that everything usually starts with HoReCa when it comes to fiscalization. But can you then tell me, so you actually wanted to tell me that this is like just the start, I could if I did understand it right. But so my question would be, can you tell us when fiscalization was actually implemented in Belgium for the first time? Like, you don't need to give me like the exact year, but when all that started happening, so we could realize how much time that was preparing, and maybe if something changed in the future and becomes not just HoReCa, how much time would they need to implement it?
Okay, so everything for Belgium, everything started. So the preparation, let's say period 2014, 2015, something like that. But the fiscalization became mandatory for HoReCa industry in 2016. Now, usually, if we see the experiences of other countries, when they started implementation of fiscalization, it usually went through several phases, mostly 3 or 4, and it lasted for a few years. Maybe in some situations 2, in some situations 4 years, depending on the, let's say, implementation plan. So now in Belgium, we have this situation where for 7 years, we have only fiscalization in one industry. And and still we do not have any official plans to expand this.
So we don't have any official confirmation of expansion.
No, not at this point. We only can have our opinion
Assume.
about it.
Yes. So you want to tell me that fiscalization of the HoReCa sector in Belgium, it has been active for 7 years. So I would definitely say that that isn't just the beginning for some reason. And maybe for some reason they need more time for implement it at other retailers as well. I must say why I ask this is because, for example, Spain is becoming fiscal next year, and like they haven't been fiscal; they were like non-fiscal country. But actually, there was one part of Spain, Basque, right?
Yes.
That actually Basque region that actually was fiscal. So that's why I asked, what do you think after the implementation of fiscalization in Basque region? Then they will do it on the whole level, actually on the in the whole country. That's why I asked for the Belgium. What do you think about it as well? Because that could be something really interesting to mention.
Yeah, well, I would say that when we talk about fiscalization and the future in Belgium, I would say that from this perspective and looking at other countries with other experience, I would say that I really believe that at some point in the future, fiscalization will cover other sectors as well. So maybe your next question would be why?
Yeah,
And
definitely. That's what I wanted to ask. So, what do you think?
yeah,
Will that change in the near future, or in future? Like, it doesn't have to be near future. And why,
so
please?
officially, no, we do not have any confirmation about that. But as I said, looking at other countries and other experiences and what benefits it brought to other countries, I think that we should believe that at some point in the future, fiscalization will expand. And the reason for that, there are several actually reasons. First, we have to bear in mind all the economic implications regarding fiscalization. So Bulgaria, as we said already, Belgium, pardon, Belgium already has fiscalization system established. So this is not something that has to be implemented. They already have one in place. So they would only need to include additional sectors or industries in this system, perhaps upgrade it a bit or change it in certain way. But again, there is a system in place and they already have steps how to certify certain elements or components for the fiscalization, how to keep data, and so on. On the other side, we can see that European Union is introducing new regulations to combat VAT frauds. So VAT is really something that is really important for every country, and every country wants to have full control of VAT. Now in Belgium, at this point, we can say that I do not I don't want to say that they don't have full control of VAT from other sectors. I'm sure that they do, but again, you have two different systems in place, one for HoReCa and one for other industries. So maybe they would like to set in the future to set the one system for all the industries. And the third argument that leads me to this conclusion that there will be this expansion is that all countries work hard to control taxpayers, and to increase income from taxes, thus introducing fiscalization in retail, for me, might be the next logical step. Again, I don't think that it will be like HoReCa and then the whole all other countries and all other industries. There are several ways they might introduce fiscalization for other sectors. So maybe it could be year through year, one sector to another, or maybe they could even go from one taxpayer to another in the sense of their size. So maybe the next step would be micro taxpayers, then medium and small, and at the end, the fiscalization would expand to the largest taxpayers or largest companies in the market.
Or they can just do it by the ones who are making the biggest profit. So my conclusion here is that the HoReCa sector in Belgium is rocking, and that they are making a huge amount of profits, definitely. So I think that retailers are doing the same as well. Like the fashion retailers, there is a huge amount of money that goes through their cash registers. They have a lot of stores and so on. So that is something that is weird for me when it comes to Belgium, especially. But okay, it is what it is. That's why I asked you, because you have experience and you do a lot of workshops, especially to our clients who are retailers. That's something why I wanted to clarify here. But I think that we should stop with the predictions now, and to keep going with the real information and something that is current state. So if you agree with me.
100%.
Okay, so I think it will be great to cover the main elements of Belgian fiscalization. You could name them one by one and tell us more about.
Okay, well, there are few of them, or maybe better say three elements. So there is certified cash register, there is certified control module, and then there is personalized VAT signing card. So perhaps we should go a little bit through each and every one, just for everyone to have in mind what are we actually talking about.
Please.
So you can see that I emphasize certified, and that is really important in this whole situation. So certified cash register can either be a traditional electronic cash register or a POS system as a whole. So it must be certified in accordance with the rules specified by the Federal Public Service of Belgium, also known as the FPS Finance. On the second element is actually certified control module, also known as the fiscal data module or a black box. So it is basically a hardware unit that saves every action happening in the cash register, and together with the VAT signing card forms the control module, which is permanently connected to the cash register system. So it generates dates and times for various receipts and transaction types, because we have different receipt types and different transaction types in Belgium as well. And it also sends fiscally relevant data to the VAT signing card and stores the data in secured memory before sending it back to the cash register system for printing. And the final element is VAT signing card. It is personalized, and the reason why I called it personalized is it's personalized for a specific taxpayer by being linked to its VAT ID number, and it cannot be transferred to another taxpayer. It has a unique ID number and a unique certificate for generating a digital signature. There is a maximum of only one card for each fiscal data module registered with the taxpayer's VAT ID, and it is also issued by the FPS Finance. It is free of charge, surprisingly, and it is issued upon the request of the taxpayer through an online application. What it does, it records all the relevant transaction data as well as staff rotations in its memory.
Okay, great. Thank you. So you mentioned certified this, certified that. Would you tell that certification is complex process in Belgium?
I wouldn't say it's
Your
complex.
opinion.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's complex if we compare it to some other countries, such as maybe Portugal,
And
because we know
France. they
and
need to
France.
do like the certification, recertification, right?
Yeah. So if we compare to those countries, I wouldn't say that these processes are that complex. But again, there are some things that you need, some steps that you need to follow. There are certain documents you need to submit, and certain, when I say certain, there are a lot of documents that you need to submit. So yes, as whenever we're talking about certification, we cannot say that it is easy. It is maybe just whether it's hard or really hard. So it's somewhere between that. I don't think that there are easy certifications, especially when we are talking about in the sense from the hardware or software perspective. In the online fiscalization, there are some types of certification, but it's not that typical traditional type. So maybe if in online cases we can say that certification is easy, but it is not really the traditional type of certification that we are talking about. So in Belgium, I think there are certain steps for sure. It can be challenging. It might be challenging, but I wouldn't say that it's that hard.
Okay, so I guess that there is no case that someone did certification on their own. So I guess that every single retailer from HoReCa sector, so restaurants and so on, couldn't do it on their own, so they have and need help when it comes to certification. Is there maybe some specific company that is certified to do certification or something like that? Because I know that we have something like that in France. I think there are two companies that you could do certification with. It's InfoCert and one other. I would like to know, is something like that maybe the thing in Belgium also, or?
Well, basically, in Belgium, you submit all your documents, all the data, everything that you need to submit, you submit to government bodies.
Okay.
So there are no private companies that deal with certification. You submit everything to public companies or to basically to ministry, some bodies of the ministry. And when it comes to so it all depends on the retailer or on the taxpayer or the person, legal entity that wants to expand their business to Belgium. So they could they have two ways to deal with fiscalization. So if they have their own solution or something like that, then they have to go to the process of certification of certain elements, or they can buy already certified products that are on the market.
Okay.
But usually we know that big companies, big systems, they have already their own systems, and they are not willing to use systems created by other companies because they want to have the same system throughout the world or wherever they are present. Regardless of the fact where they're present, they want to have the same system. So if they want to certify some of the elements that they want to use in the Belgium, then they really need to follow these certain steps and to respect the rules set.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. So I wanted to clarify that, to do like a little comparison with really hard certification processes like France and Portugal. I would like also to cover one really interesting topic we mentioned like 10 minutes earlier, and that is languages. We know that there are three main linguistic groups in Belgium, meaning that there are like three official languages. It's Dutch, German, and French. And so my question would be, how does that affect fiscalization? Are there some specific requirements, like the language of receipts, as you mentioned earlier? So please, could you tell us?
So again, we have really specific situation. So we have three different official languages. We have three different language areas. And I actually had a lot of fun watching the map of these language areas, because I wasn't sure, or it wasn't clear enough for me why there is one exception. So when we're talking about the language of the receipt, it's basically the basic rule is the language of the receipt is the language of the language area, meaning that the receipt is the subject to language legislation. So to put things more simple way, the language used on receipt depends on the language area in which business is located, and it does not matter what language the consumer speaks. So we have three basically different languages with three different language areas, where there is a Flemish community or Flemish, let's say, language area. Receipts are in Dutch. Where we have French or German speaking areas, receipts are in French or German respectively. But there is one exception, and that is if your place of business is in the Brussels capital region, then you can use either Dutch or French. Now, why I say this is really interesting, when you look at the map and when you see where the Brussels is located, it's basically located in the Flemish part of the Belgium. And, you know, if you color it, you can see two huge colors like French and Flemish, and then you have this tiny circle that is Brussels, and there is a special rule for that part of Belgium.
So I'm listening to you, and I'm coming to a conclusion that if I go to Belgium, nothing will be clear to me when I get the bill. So I
More,
wouldn't be able to read what I have bought.
more or less, unless you speak Dutch, German, or French.
And there is no like Belgish in Belgium, but okay, that's pretty crazy. But is really interesting. So this is something that is really specific, really, really specific. Okay, so we covered that receipt language. If there are any questions, feel free to comment. And now that we know about the elements, could you introduce us to specific receipts that are in use?
Where there is actually one really unique type of receipt in Belgium. Again, we will create this unique element about Belgium fiscalization. So there is this one type of receipt called simplified receipt, and
Because it's really simple.
maybe the name, but the simplicity ends there. So. So it is this type of receipt is only issued if supported by cash register system. So it is not mandatory for cash register system to be able to print this type of receipts. It is permitted for sales not exceeding 100 euros, and it is printed at the customer's request after the printing of the ordinary VAT receipt. So basically, someone could conclude, okay, we're talking about a copy of the receipt, where in fact we are not talking about copy of the receipt. So simplified receipt is actually considered as a summary copy of the original receipt, on which is included a summary list of meals and drinks, as well as their respective totals. And what is more interesting, and what adds more on this uniqueness about this simplified receipt, is that it is basically ranked as a pro forma event, but it always refers to the receipt number of the original VAT receipt. So basically, we are talking about something that is a copy, but is actually a pro forma event, but it is issued after the original receipt is already issued. So
basically, we're talking about the simplified complex receipt.
yes, yes, because usually when we talk about simplified receipts or simplified invoices in other countries, we really basically we see that it is the same form, same elements are on the receipt, but it is only the some kind of amount limit. So there is a limit for which transactions simple invoice or simple receipt can be issued, but basically they look or they have the same elements as any other receipts. And here in simplified, we can see that it is a summary copy, but it is treated as a pro forma event.
Okay, whatever. So good luck for everyone who's going in Belgium. Okay, Alexander. So I would like to, at the end of this event, summarize and to see so what is like our conclusion and what are the main challenges for those who are in expansion to Belgium. What should they like take care of or pay attention to?
Okay, so basically, again, we need to talk about two different groups of, let's say, market players. In one group, I will put businesses in Horeca industry. So if one business from Horeca sector or Horeca industry is entering Belgium market, they should inform themselves what is included in the 25,000 euro threshold and what is not, meaning they would need to understand what and how to what is calculated and how to calculate and what not to calculate in this threshold. Again, once they actually realize that they will exceed this threshold and that they are properly calculating, they need to find a suitable cash register system, which is certified, together with fiscal module, again, which is certified, and to obtain VAT signing card, which is personalized for that taxpayer. And also, when we are talking about any hardware or any elements, we can encounter some kind of issues. So there are some specific procedures in the case of malfunctioning of cash register systems, or if there are some technical issues with VAT signing card or fiscal data modules. So they really need to know what to do if one part of this fiscalization system is not working in a proper way. And in the other group, we have to talk about manufacturers, importers, and distributors of registered cash register systems and its components. And so there are also different obligations, and there is also strict or defined set of rules that they have to respect. And we already talked about it. So if you have your own elements that you want to sell on the Belgium market, then you really need to get familiarized with the process of certification of the cash register systems and fiscal data module. So everything depends. So whether you are in the Horeca industry or you are on that other side of the market.
Okay, what would be your recommendation? Like, how much time would they need, and how much time do they need to prepare to have like everything smoothly and easygoing?
Okay, so I will share a little bit of inside information from Fiscal Solutions here. So because as a legal consultant, I'm actually going through these documents and doing the research and communicating with ministry, with tax authorities, and so on. This is a procedure that if you do not have all the important elements set in right place, for us, it takes a few months to get all the information. So you have to read, first of all, you have to conclude which rules or which laws even apply to that sector. Then you have to understand that laws. Then you have to explain first to yourself and then to be able to explain to others what is important, what is not important, what is covered, what is not covered, who are the subjects, or who are the taxpayers, or who are the subjects of fiscalization, and so on and so on. And then when you come down to fiscalization, to certification process, then we have this whole set of technical documents as well that needs to be researched, read, and usually translated as well, and so on. So this is really complex, not just for Belgium, for every new market, for every new country that even we want to research. There is a step-by-step guide that we created. There's steps that we follow, and it really takes us few months with all the knowledge, with all experience that we have. Every country is really unique. So if companies that want to enter the Belgian market have the right people in right positions and already have all these steps, then it's simple to do it for themselves. But if someone wants a faster approach, then I guess a workshop with me and my colleagues from legal and technical part, let's say, of consultant team would be a good choice.
That's great. Also, I would like to mention, leave yourself time for some unexpected problems and possible mistakes, because here is really important that people are doing it. So you don't have a machine or some robot that will do it. Instead, you will do it. And if you haven't been in Belgium yet, then there is probably something that will be difficult for you to understand. Maybe it will be even difficult for you to realize, where should I start? So it's better to have more time than to do everything like in 3 or 4 or 5 months, and then to make some huge mistakes that wouldn't be good for some established business concepts, for real. Okay, I think that's it for today. Alexander, you were great, and I really had a great time. We really like did this one event like chit chat, and I love that, because it was really spontaneous. For everyone just to know, it was really spontaneous, and we really wanted to chat and to give you some valuable information from this discussion.
Yeah, well, this is a complete other format from like some webinars that we have, because in webinars are usually more formal. There is like a sense of that we are actually transferring knowledge. Again, yeah, here we are sharing knowledge and we're talking about all elements, but this retail talk format is more free. And maybe in some situation even it can get better results, because we're not defined by the presentation that we already have prepared or something like that. So especially when we have questions from our viewers, then this can really go to other level.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for this also. I must say Belgium still isn't on our fiscal portal, but it will be in near future. And I must mention once again, so you don't forget, go and visit our fiscal portal, because you have a unique opportunity that lasts only this week. So until the end of the week, you will be able to subscribe for one country and pay just one country and get another one totally free. And this discount is life lasting. So you will be able for that price until the end, until you don't need no more that country. So you will be able to see this on our fiscal portal. And if you need a link or something like that, let me know, and I will definitely post it. Also, what is really important to mention, next week, next Wednesday, 7th of June, we are holding a webinar, and the name is Fiscalization in Spain, Volume 1. What is really interesting about this event is that it will be held by me as a host and moderator, our other legal consultant, and our other dear colleague, Nicolina Basic, and two co-founders of Fiscal Solutions. Why is that? Well, I must say this will be one really special event, as we are going to talk about legal requirements, some technical requirements of the new fiscalization in a country that wasn't fiscal until now. So that is something that is really important. And our co-founders will tell you more about the solution we are preparing. So we are preparing cloud solution for Spain, and you should come and join us. You can find the link on LinkedIn to register and to join us.
And you know that one country is really specific when you have like fiscalization in Spain, volume 1. So you know that there is something special about that country and that fiscalization.
Yeah, and you know that there will be volume 2. That's a great point, Alexander. So thank you once again for your time. You were a great speaker. I always love to hear from you. Ladies and gentlemen, Alexander Marinkovic, if you have any questions, reach out to him or to me, or you can write to marketing@fiscal-solutions.com. You can go and visit our fiscal portal, and that will be all for today. Thank you for watching and for your time. Bye.